Sommeliers have achieved almost rock star status in the wine industry. But what does this highly skilled profession really entail? This morning, we have the honor to chat to the first sommelier in South Africa, Germain Lehody, about his passion for wine and his path to becoming an expert in his field. Dan vind ons uit wie die wenners in vanjaar se Veritas-toekennings was. Skink maar so lank vir jou 'n glasie. Vir nou, oor na Lise vir die jongste landbounuus.
Pioneer, gemaak om te groei.
Welkom by vandag se nuus. Moketsa Ramasodi is onlangs as direkteur-generaal by die Departement van Landbou, Grondhervorming en Landelike Ontwikkeling aangestel. Dit volg nadat hy reeds as waarnemende direkteur-generaal in die departement gedien het. Agri SA het in 'n verklaring hierdie aanstelling verwelkom. Volgens Christo van der Rede van Agri SA het Ramasodi 'n lang geskiedenis in die departement, veral wat die bestuur en implementering van biosekuriteitsrisikoplanne behels. Spierwyne het met die lauwere weggestap tydens die afgelope 2021 Veritas-toekennings. Spier se Bordeaux-styl versnit, die 2018 Spier Creative Block 5, het gesorg dat hulle die gesogte toekenning loslaan. Volgens 'n verklaring deur die organiseerders is 'n rekordgetal dubbelgoudmedaljes gedurende die toekenningsgeleentheid oorhandig. Ander uitblinkers was KWV en De Stel, wat elk 6 dubbelgoudmedaljes vir hulle wyne verower het. Bly ingeskakel vir 'n volledige insetsel hieroor later in die program. En dan blyk dit dat trekkerverkope steeds styg. Volgens die jongste data van die Landbou-Masjinerievereniging is byna 4% meer trekkers in Oktober vanjaar verkoop as laas jaar Oktober. Vir die jaar tot dusver is trekkerverkope nou byna 25% meer as verlede jaar se verkope. Kenners meen egter insetkoste het 'n bron van kommer geword vir boere wat aan die begin van die somerplantseisoen staan. Hulle meen dit hou verkope effens terug. Dis dan vandag se nuus, maar moenie weggaan nie. We have a very special guest in studio today, and I'm sure you're probably wondering why I've got a glass in front of me. Well, stay tuned, don't go away. I'd like to welcome Germain Lehody. He's a sommelier, and we're going to find out what the work is of this tradition, if I can call it, or this job. Germain, yes, welcome to the studio. Thank you. We've got an exciting few minutes ahead of us. What exactly is a sommelier?
A sommelier is a person which works in restaurant mostly. There is also some other places, but mostly restaurant, which recommend wine to the patron of the restaurant, linked to the style of the food served in that restaurant. That means a dish, a specific wine go with. The main idea is to have a perfect pairing, the wine will not dominate the food and the food not dominate the wine. That means the sommelier need to know the standard of the food. That means he can describe the dish, and he must be able to find the right wine to go with that type of food. Linked to the third party, which is the patron. That means if you don't like heavy red wine, and heavy red wine normally should go with, then you have to find a compromise.
So how does one become a sommelier? Because you are one.
I was the first sommelier in South Africa, and I was trained in Europe for that. And I came in South Africa, and How you become today, there is a few institutions like a Cape Wine Academy, which give you the basic level of wine knowledge. Your WSET, which is a new British system, which is also available in South Africa. You can also do by correspondence, and you have to be, I personally believe, passionate about food and wine. That will make a plus.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've got wine here today, but you have experienced lots so far. What have you experienced? What have you done as far as this job is concerned?
Yeah, a lot of people believe that if there is a professional wine specialist in the restaurant, he will recommend more expensive wine, which is not automatically true. You try to find the right pairing. It's not a question of price. It's a question of flavors and so on. That means it took a long time for South African to accept recommendations, because normally people go in a restaurant, they order a bottle of wine to start with, and after that they will decide the food. And if the pairing is not right, they will not blame the wine because they order a bottle of wine that they know, but they will blame the food. That means I recommend when you go to a restaurant is to have a glass of water or soft drinks or wine or what it is. And when your selection of the food is being made, that's when you put the order through. From that, you should decide which wine go for. And that is where the sommelier come into the picture.
Now, if it comes to the tasting, I mean, you've done honey and salt and peppercorn. So tell us about that briefly.
Yeah, because being a sommelier, that means I'm passionate about food. Yeah. And even at one stage, I was even cooking in a kitchen. And not far from here, that's mean an Arini, had a village bistro restaurant, and I was the chef there. And that's mean I'm passionate about the ingredients. And I try to work on the ingredients, and I realized that the main ingredients that we use in a kitchen, everybody's kitchen, they don't know. People know nothing about salt. No, people know nothing about peppercorn. People soya sauce. Honey, and or I find personally that I show interest on that, and I did studies on it, and some of them I wrote a little booklet and so on, just to try to educate the people. Because for me, to be a good sommelier, you may a food fondue, I would say. When you put something in your mouth, you should memorize what you are putting in your mouth, not just to down like a beer. Yeah. It just means, and from that you want to learn more.
Right, let's get to your demonstration. Now, Germain is going to demonstrate to us what's important when you open a bottle of wine and taste it.
Yes, that means as a sommelier, you will present the bottle of wine to confirm that is a wine which has been ordered. Then to open, well, you have two techniques. Or you can cut the top or the bottom. The old school, we're cutting the bottom because at that time the capsule used to contain some lid. That means it was make sure that is not in contact with the wine. Now you put the opener, that's the wettest frame, the nickname of that, the bottle opener. You put in the middle, and you make sure that the hole is completely in. Now, you put one finger to make sure that it doesn't, when you want to put pressure, that means you press like this, and you help with your thumb, it gives you a straight traction. Because if you do this, you see the corks go on the side. And when you can't go further, there is a different level, and we go. And the last few, there we go.
Now, what happens, are we still going to have wine with corks?
The wine with corks will become less and less. Yeah. You must understand, it takes 7 years minimum for the bark of an oak tree, these special oak trees, to produce that type of cork. That's mean A. And secondly, the consumption of wine worldwide is increasing, but the productions, there is only few areas in the world where you can grow. That means Portugal is the main producer. You have Spain, a bit of France, a bit of Italy, but the bulk 75% is in Portugal. And they've been the really top quality is quite expensive. A cork like this is around 7-8 rand minimum.
Sure.
That means, and you can go to even 11-12 rand for a cork. That means that is expensive. And I must admit, the quality of the screw cap has improved a lot the last few years. Therefore, for inexpensive wine or wine that you don't want to keep, if you want to keep for 15-20 years, you need to have a cork. If you want to keep for 5-7 years, what it is, a screw cap can do the trick. Or there is others. There is glass stopper. There is different technique, or different. There is even like a type of plastic can be used.
Here the South African lacquer coming through there. Right, continue. What are we doing next?
Now, when you do in the restaurant, that means you pour a little bit of the wine for the person, the host, to taste the wine, to give approval. Then, and you should not, see, you give it just a little bit for the person to taste. Right. Oopsie. And from your reaction, that means if it's positive, why we do that is because unfortunately the cork is not perfect. And some of the corks can have a fungus develop inside. And that fungus will give the taste or smell and taste of the cork into the wine. And that you don't want. That means it's more or less to show that the wine is correct. And you don't want to pour everybody and suddenly you have to change all the glasses because it's a problem of the cork. These days, the quality of the corks has improved a lot. That means I've been judged to a lot of wine competitions, and I remember in 20 years ago, you had a lot of problem with corks. Today, it's close to zero. It's very little.
Now, for me, what is the right thing to do after I've
received? Now, you see, if I take it...
you do yours and you show us what we should do, because I've still got 1 or 2 questions. I might not be able to ask you the questions.
Okay, that means you look at the color. When you taste wine, this is what it's all about. You look at the color to know if there is any problem with the color. Now, these are 2013 Bordeaux blend.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Quite old.
Yes, but that means you can see on the color... Yes. Is not ruby anymore. No. It's on the brownish.
Yes,
that's mean a tonic. That's giving an indication. If you don't know what you are tasting, give you an indications of the age to start with. You turn the fact that turning the glass is mean, or the wine in a glass, it bring oxygen to the wine. Yeah. Secondly, you look at it if there is what we call it the legs, to know that will give you indications of how much alcohol the wine has. Then you put your nose on it. Now you try to know the fruit, and if you are a little bit of experience, you will, because each cultivar has its own characteristic. That means you try to pick which characteristic the wine has, and they give you indication of what cultivar it should be. Because in reality, the palate is just to confirm what the nose and the eyes have seen. That means if you don't have a nose, you will not be a good taster. The nose is very important when it comes to that. Now, I will take a little bit of wine and bring a little bit of oxygen
in
your mouth, right. And make the wine to go everywhere in your mouth, because the tongue has different areas for different. That means the sweetness is at the point of the tongue. The acidity will be on the side of the tongue. The bitterness will be at the back of the tongue. That means you have to know, and from that you know what style. And because of the warmth of the mouth, you will be an explosion of flavors coming immediately.
It's good.
It's good.
Must be honest.
Yeah, that's good. I will not bring you a bottle of, I don't want to name anything, but I say this, but the wine to last long like this has to be stored in a good condition. Right. This means the cooler the cellar or the wine fridge these days, the slower the evolution of the wine will be. Good. Secondly, the temperature when you serve the wine in a restaurant or at home, what it is. When we talk about a room temperature, that is an old say of 100 years ago. But a castle in Europe with over a meter thick walls, that means the temperature inside the castle never been more than 18. That means it was between in winter 14, 15. That is where wearing a jacket was highly recommended, and became after that part of the etiquette of to be sitting at the table. But at the beginning, it was a need for temperature, and the beauty of serving the wine at cool temperature is because the alcohol doesn't show too much. If the wine is too warm, the alcohol dominates. I mean, it burns your nose basically, and the fruit will not be present in the same way.
Germain, thank you very much. We have to say goodbye, but you've tasted it, I've tasted it. What did you taste?
Okay. Like as I said, the color, it's to give you some edge, which is materialized on the nose. Just mean the wine reaches basically its full maturity now. Just mean the fruit is less red fruit or black fruit like it was when it was very young. Give you more complexity on the nose. You find a little bit of, for me, I find a dark chocolate on the nose. It's still very fruity. This means fruit, like most of the quality red wine, that means we go more for red fruit to black fruit. Here I will find a black cherries type of flavor. What I like in this wine is because of the age, the tannin are soft.
It is, yes.
And very, very pleasant aftertaste, which to me is important. I mean, I can see, when I taste a wine like this, I can see some red meat to be part of the meal.
I actually wanted to say to you, I almost smell a bit of salami.
Yeah, it's the meaty.
Yes, the almost,
yeah. Good.
Cheers.
See you soon.
See you soon. Germain Lehody, and he's a sommelier, and we will see him soon.
Wel lekker om weer met die boere te gesels, maar lyk my die boere kom agter dat ons gesels baie keer oor toegeldeenhede. En vandag wil ons bietjie praat oor Ethereum. 'n Ander boer het my gekontak, Johan, en hy sê vir my, Frans, jy nie net bietjie kyk na Ethereum, want ek hou van hulle platforms. Ek dink hierdie kriptogeldeenheid kan letterlik net hoër en hoër beweeg. En as ek kyk na hierdie grafiek, kan 'n mens sien, hier is pragtige momentum. Net nou die dag, ek bedoel 27 September, kan jy glo, dis 2 maande terug, was die prys op 2688 en nou is hy hier by die $4,500. Nou dit sê net vir jou dat die momentum is pragtig na bo. En ek wil nou net miskien vir boere sê, as jy nou Ethereum wil koop of Bitcoin of enige een van hierdie kriptogeldeenhede, wees maar net bedag daarop dat hierdie pryse verskriklik kan skommel. Ek wil net hierdie een kers wys, hy was die een oggend 4,288, hy het gaan draai by 3,924, dit is sommer net in 'n oggend. Nou, op die oomblik lyk hy pragtig, maar hy's op 'n splinternuwe hoogtepunt, en terwyl hy bo 4,461 is, sê dit vir jou dat die prys kan baie hoër gaan, en ek wil net 'n vlakkie hier gee. So Johan, jy kan nog steeds sit met jou Ethereum, ek dink nie, ou moet hulle nou bykoop nie, ek dink jy's dalk 'n rapsie laat om by te koop, maar as hy bo daai vlakkie van 4,500 kan kom, kan hy baie maklik na 4,600 en selfs 4,630 gaan. So klou vas aan jou Ethereum, maar koop hom eers op 'n terugtrek en wag gewoonlik vir 'n terugtrek voordat jy koop, want een of ander tyd gaan die grafiek dit begin doen. Na so sterk loop, gaan hy terugtrek en dan gaan jy onkant gevang wees en jy gaan jou vingers verbrand. Hou by 'n keer verlies en wees versigtig en moenie gierig wees. Al besoek gerus ons webtuiste www.franseklerk.com vir meer inligting en ons gesels weer.
Die ongelooflike atmosfeer by vandag se Veritas-toekennings was 'n toonbeeld gewees van hoe die bedryf na 2 jaar se sukkel homself weer op die voet te vind. En as 'n mens kyk na die uitslae van 88 dubbelgoue wyne en 147 goue wyne, dan vertel dit 'n suksesverhaal van ons Suid-Afrikaanse wynbedryf. Sit daarby saam die eerste wyn wat 98 punte op die nuwe punteskaal tel en 'n brandewyn wat 100 punte behaal, dan sê dit vir ons iets van die fantastiese kwaliteit van ons Suid-Afrikaanse produkte. En die wenner van die 2021 Duimpie Bailey Veritas Vertex-toekenning is Spier Creative Block 5, 'n Bordeaux versnit van Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot en Malbec 2018.
Wauw, dankie. Dit is regtig 'n voorreg, kan ek net eers dit sê. Dit is regtig 'n voorreg om hierdie trofee te kan wen. En ook nog in die naam van 'n baie ou goeie wynleermeester vir ons almal op Duimpie Bailey. Ja, dis jare se maak. Ek bedoel, ons mos 'n wingerd wat groei vir soveel jare. En in jare soos 2018 wanneer mense nie het verwag dat 'n rooiwyn regtig so 'n groot prys sal wen nie. Dit is regtig 'n baie groot eer. En dit is ook maar net vir my net 'n goeie bewys van goeie spanwerk, goeie samewerking, wingerdkelder. En mense wil altyd dink dat 'n wyn is daar op 'n podium, maar daar's mense agter 'n wyn.
The results of the 2021 Veritas Awards were announced at an informal lunch at Valdevie Estate in Paarl, featuring 88 double gold and 147 gold medals, amidst an atmosphere of celebrations about the awarded wines and brandies. And also, exciting news from Veritas.
It gives me great pleasure today then also announce that the wine score will be revealed on your stickers, and we believe that this will add a lot of value to winning a double gold, a Veritas double gold or gold sticker. And we can proudly say the Veritas seal is still synonymous with excellence in wine and brandy.
Die eerste volpunt brandewyn by Veritas, 100 punte brandewyn. Van die KWV 'n Lambic Botstel brandy, 15 jaar oud.
So dit is ongelooflik, ek dink ons hele span is uit ons nate uit. Ons het dit voorheen reg gekry by die platter met die Next is die 30 jaar, maar om dit op Veritas te kry, eerste keer in geskiedenis, is ongelooflik. Ons is so bly.
Die De Grendel Shiraz 2019 van Elim het die hoogste punte vir 'n wyn uit 100 punte vir wynafdeling behaal. Baie geluk, julle het die enigste 98 punt wyn gekry by Veritas 21. Wel gedaan, uitstekend, wat 'n span.
Het is 'n besonderse voorreg om dit te ontvang. Maar jy weet, as jy jonk is, dan dink jy doen spesiale goed in die kelder, maar later dan kom jy agter dis eintlik wat die grond in die klimaat en die wingerdboupraktyke wat so wyn maak. So ek het kom van Bredasdorp af en hierdie druiwe is van Elim en ek het altyd besef dis 'n koel, gematigde klimaat vir Shiraz en die lekker peperagtige Rotanden, Garrix geure in Shiraz maak dit baie besonder. So ek dink is die koel, gematigde klimaat.
En nou dames en here, die kelder met die meeste dubbelgoue Veritas medaljes en ook die meeste goue medaljes. 6 dubbelgoud en 10 goue medaljes. Fantasties, wel gedaan, hartlik geluk aan die KWV se span.
Nee, dis 'n groot prestasie vir ons en ek moet sê dis te danke aan ons span. Ons het 'n redelike 'n goeie passievol span wynmakers en viticulturists wat baie harde werk doen om die tipe results te vier. So it's really a great success, a good team effort.
Die Veritas-tradisie om jaarliks bedryfsleiers te vereer is vir jaar voortgesit. 7 leierfigure het die 2021 lewende legende ererol ontvang vir hulle toewyding en passie vir die Suid-Afrikaanse wynbedryf. Teenwoordig op die dag was Kobie de Kooi, Celia Gilloway, Marius Labeskagni en Karel Nel. Drie ontvangers kon gelukkig nie die dag bywoon nie: Johan Pinaar, Erika Platter en Don Tooth. Die gaste is vermaak deur 'n professionele polowedstryd terwyl hulle kon smil aan die groot verskeidenheid geregte van ontbeende hoenderboutjies tot vars salmforel en 'n heerlike currygereg.
Dit is 'n kompetisie wat die verbruikers ken en hulle kyk daarna en hulle het daai vertroue om dan die produk te koop. So ek dink dit is definitief waardevol om verbruikers te help om 'n besluit te maak.
En om ons wyn en ons brandewyne te wys vir die wêreld is so bitter belangrik en ek dink vir die verbruiker natuurlik ook. Dit gaan nie net oor die etiket op die bottel nie, dit gaan daaroor dat ons maak absoluut wêreldklas produkte en daarom is vandag so belangrik.
En bestel nou maklik al die dubbelgoud en goue wenners op jou selfoon of jou rekenaar deur op die Vino Veritas app te registreer en die wyne word by jou deur afgelewer.
Farming is known for the risks involved, and at AgriSeker we understand farmers' needs and risks. AgriSeker is a specialist underwriting manager in the crop insurance market whose vision and goal is to provide an agricultural risk management service to our clients in order to play an important role in maintaining food security. The AgriSeker family is there for farmers so they can do their best to feed the country. Ask your insurance broker or find us online at www.agriseker.co.za.